Coming up on AC 24/7, deadly earthquake. The race against time intensifies in Turkey and Syria as the desperate search for survivors continues. Plus, the White House prepares to release a roadmap out of the COVID-19 public health emergency, how that will impact Americans. And we've got tips to make sure you don't go over your Super Bowl budget party this season. Hey there, welcome to AC 24/7. I'm your host, Lamar Baldwin. Search efforts are continuing in Syria and Turkey. Meanwhile, temperatures in the disaster zone are staying below zero at night. And with each passing day, rescue workers are pulling fewer survivors and more victims. The Advocate Channel's Nick Patone-Walsh has the details.
To see the devastation in a city of this size is just utterly remarkable. Some streets, one building, fine, it seems untouched, standing, the next utterly flattened. And some streets indeed with the bottom 3 floors of an apartment block crushed on each other and the rest of the building standing upright. It was indeed in one of those where we saw a glimmer of hope, rescue workers running towards, and you can see them running behind me here as well, running towards the scene where they thought they had found an 8-year-old girl alive. Sadly, in front of her mother, she was brought out and seen to have perished in there. But down here at this wreckage, continued bids to respond to the noises they hear, to respond to what they hope will be people being brought out alive, and anger too that we hear from bystanders looking in one case at the now destroyed home of their sister and her entire child family. Anger at the construction, how some buildings are upright through building regulations being followed and some are crumbled down to rubble, and a culture really of where construction is so part of the money here, so some accused it of being riddled with corruption, and how that made them angry too, the government culture that would permit that to occur. But still now the urgent task, responding to the noise that they hear inside the rubble, calls for silence, a pause in work, and then sadly, as we've seen over here, some bodies that have been brought out. It is a grim and constant job that we are hearing and seeing from the rescue workers here. And in no case over there, some of those bodies marked with owner, suggesting that they have been identified, that somebody may be there to collect them soon, and others left with those questions still unanswered. Nick Patone-Walsh, CNN, Antakya, Turkey.
The Biden administration is preparing to put COVID-19 on the back burner. President Joe Biden is expected to unveil a roadmap to help the nation prepare for when the public health emergency declaration for the virus is ended in May. The Advocate Channel's John Lawrence reports.
After roughly 3 years, it appears the U.S. has the upper hand on COVID-19.
Today, our nation is in a much different position than we were at the start of the pandemic. We have built a wall of immunity and expanded the tools available to decrease the risk of severe disease and death from COVID-19.
Last week, President Joe Biden issued a statement saying he plans to end COVID-19 national and public health emergencies by May 11th.
While the virus is not gone, thanks to the resilience of the American people and the ingenuity of medicine, we've broken the COVID grip on us.
But during Tuesday night's State of the Union address, Biden also said the White House's previously stated goals set to protect the population remain in place.
We still need to monitor dozens of variants and support new vaccines and treatments. So Congress needs to fund these efforts and keep America safe.
A source close to the administration says the White House will release a roadmap to make sure the public knows what ending the COVID-19 declaration entails.
We've managed the effects of COVID through increasingly available vaccines and treatments. And we're figuring out how to apply lessons from this pandemic to enhance health security going forward.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
According to the IRS, you may want to wait before you file your taxes. That's because those state relief checks dialed out in 2022. Last year, a total of 18 states handed out some sort of rebate, and the IRS isn't quite sure how to tax those on the federal level yet. The Advocate Channel's Ivan Rodriguez talks details.
If you live in a state that issued some sort of rebate last year, experts say you should hold off on rushing to file your taxes. That's because the IRS is still scratching their heads over how to tax them. While the checks handed out by states likely won't be taxed at the state level, they may be subject to income tax at the federal level.
That the IRS is going state by state and looking at the details of these proposals or these, the details of these rebate checks and deciding whether they're taxable. And it's coming late in the process. That is the fundamental problem here.
At least 18 states issued a special payment of some kind in 2022. Jared Walczak from the Tax Foundation says they were for a variety of reasons.
Sometimes it's been about inflation. Sometimes it's just the money. In a couple of states, it's been targeted, maybe for, say, individuals with children.
But what should you do if you already filed and you received one of those checks?
The standard way to approach this is an amended return, but don't do it yet because you want to wait to know what the IRS tells you to do. You don't want to do this 3 times.
With the ever-changing tax code, Walczak says there's another thing to look out for this year.
Be aware of the way that this post-pandemic era has changed how you live and work. Generally speaking, states can tax you where you live and where you earn income. This is the downside, the trade-off with the flexibility a lot of people have with remote work or flexible work arrangements, that they may owe taxes to multiple states.
In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
If you're hosting a Super Bowl party this year, it's going to cost you a little less. But experts say it's still easy to go over budget. The Advocate Channel's Cole Higgins has some surprising ways to save money on your big game gathering.
Despite inflation and lingering shortages, your game day party is going to cost you less this year, except for one key item: alcohol.
That's always the most expensive part of a party. So it's important to think ahead in terms of what you're going to serve.
According to a new Wells Fargo Super Bowl food report, beer prices this year have jumped 11% from last year, with wine up 4% and spirits up 2%. And experts say it can be easy to go over budget if you're not careful. Kristen Mitchell has these 5 tips to rein in your spending without fumbling the fun. 1, tackle the food as a team.
Ask half of your guests to bring something salty and half of your guests to bring something sweet so you don't end up with either all chips or all dessert.
2, don't get lost on the sidelines. Keep side dishes simple. Whip up something using ingredients you already have at home or buy cheaper items like wings and guac. A pound of chicken wings is down 22% from last January, and the average retail price for an avocado is down 20% since last year. 3, skip the pre-made trays. Mitchell says they're often overpriced and you can make them yourself for much less. 4, be strategic. Mitchell recommends placing less expensive items at the start of the buffet line to save money.
They've actually found that people will choose more of the things at the beginning of the buffet. Makes sense, right? Your plate is empty, you're hungry, you load up your plate.
And finally, keep decor at a minimum. Remember, it's just for one day, and the highlight is the actual game. For Consumer Watch, I'm Cole Higgins.
Chick-fil-A is stepping outside of the coop and into the garden, testing out a brand new chicken sandwich that has no chicken. The Chick-fil-A cauliflower sandwich is marinated and breaded in Chick-fil-A seasonings. They're pressure cooked and served on a bun with pickles. However, vegetarians beware. The sandwich is not vegan because it uses milk and eggs. But the sandwich is only available in Denver, Colorado, Charleston, South Carolina, and Greensboro, North Carolina. The Advocate Channel is celebrating Black History Month. Today we want to spotlight actress, rapper, and icon Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah was born Dana Owens. She was the first solo female rapper with a certified gold album. Now she's an accomplished actress. Queen Latifah won a Primetime Emmy for her role as Bessie in the made-for-TV series she co-produced about the life of singer Bessie Smith. In 2021, Queen Latifah openly addressed her longtime partner Ebony Nichols for the first time publicly. The two met on the set of Dancing with the Stars. Thank you for joining us for AC 24/7. For more content that advocates to you, go to advocatechannel.com and make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. For the Advocate Channel, I'm Lamont Baldwin.